Yeah, thanks for coming, everyone. I'm Kai. I'm the product lead for Hyperbolic. And
my name is Amr. I'm the creator of the Agent Kit.
Yeah, so for this session, I'm just going to go through very basic what we're doing at Hyperbolic, some of the services that we have. And then Amr is going to do a more detailed walkthrough on the actual Agent Kit itself. So if you guys are participating in the hackathon, you're going to be building on the Agent Kit. You're going to be developing tools for it and using it. So yeah, this will be a really good session to kind of learn more. So when you come into Hyperbolic, the first thing that you're going to want to do is sign up for the account. And then it'll ask you to actually upload your SSH key. So this is obviously your public key. You're going to attach it to your account. And this is what's going to give you access to any instances that you rent. And I'll kind of go through the process of actually renting an instance and then SSH into it. So if you go to the Rent GPU tab, we have all of our available instances here. So I'm going to rent a H100, I guess. And you can choose the amount of GPUs that you want, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and hit confirm. It usually takes about 2 to 3 minutes to actually spin up the machine for you. But once it does, so I already have a machine that I've rented down here. Once it does, it'll actually give you an SSH command to get into it. So you'll see it actually finish here. I'm gonna copy the SSH. And then you'll be able to get into your machine and you'll see the startup. So this is kind of the manual way to do it. And then through our agent kit, you'll see in a second, you'll be able to actually launch an agent that will be able to rent the machine, manage your machine, and maintain it autonomously, all by itself. So I'm gonna actually kick it over to Amr because that's the bulk of what you guys are going to be working on. But if you have any questions with regards to the bounties, getting free credits to try out our services, I'll be around. So you can just show the power. Oh yeah. So we actually have for Hyperbolic, we're going to have 3 tracks. Here we go. Yeah, so we're going to have 3 bounties. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. But some of you have already been working on the first bounty, which is the revenue generator. And the idea is actually really simple, right? You launch an agent, it has a wallet attached to it already. You're going to get free credits, and then you figure out however you want to be able to generate revenue through your agent. One example actually that we've seen pretty recently is the agent created an NFT collection and then sold it in order to generate enough revenue to run its own Ethereum validator, which I thought was really cool and kind of terrifying. The second is the most creative revenue strategy. So again, it's very similar, right? But the entire idea is how can you generate revenue autonomously through an agent. And then the third is it's more general, right? What we have provided is basically a way for agents to pay for itself, to pay for the compute that it needs to run itself, right? So we're really excited to see what you guys and girls have can come up with to kind of add to that, right? And then the fourth is the Alpha Swarm. Theoriq one. Yeah, so that's Theoriq, which are going to be around here as well. And you'll be able to talk with them to figure out what you can build on top of their Alpha Swarm. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna hand it off to Amr.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm going to do a kind of intro to the agent kit, how the structure works, and how you can contribute to the agent kit. So we're just going to load it up on GitHub here. So I would say the most important thing about developing on the agent kit is reading the README. This README is very comprehensive, and a lot of errors that you have will be answered in this README. So first, we're going to start off with just like some features that exist within our agent. We have compute operations via Hyperbolic. So you can write instances, terminate instances, call functions on the instances. And the idea behind this is to give the agent its own compute such that the agent can self-evolve and have access to compute so that it can decide how it wants to continue its own development. A lot of agents right now are stagnant or they learn from specified knowledge bases. But if you give the agent ability to expand itself based on what it needs to do, then you create a much more intelligent agent. We also are connected to the Coinbase agent kit, so you can deploy tokens, manage wallets, transactions as well. And we also have some Twitter operations, as well as some editing operations through Gemini. So so let's go straight into the repo. So we have two ways to interact with the agent. We have a chat mode, and we also have a voice mode. So in chatbot py, this is the file that contains the logic for the chatbot. So we're just going to go through like some important functions. So the first important function that you need to know is the function here, load characters. So when you have an agent or when you have an LLM, its personality is very, very stagnant. It's very like, surface level. You're a helpful AI assistant that has access to tools. How can you give this agent more personality, and how can you make it customizable to the user that wants to use the agent? So you can do this through something called a character file. In this character file, it's essentially just a JSON file that contains attributes. So for example, we have like a clone of some Twitter KOLs here. Where it contains like different bio information, lore, post examples. We have like our Hyperbolic agent, which has like also, similar information here as well. So in chatbot, in this load characters, we kind of load this path and we process the character file by pulling the JSON tags. And then we create this personality prompt. And this personality prompt is one of the core inputs in the agent initialization. So we create this agent personality prompt and we tell it your AI character designed to interact on social media with this configuration. And then the second thing which makes the agent an agent is the tools. So an agent is essentially just a large language model that has access to external function calling such that it can, if it doesn't have the ability to do something natively, it can look at its tools and it can do those actions. So we have a lot of tools here. Some of them, as I mentioned, the Twitter tools, we have the Hyperbolic tools, and you can add tools to this agent in however manner you please. So essentially what a tool is it is a name of the tool, a function, which is the external function, and also a description. So we have abstracted our descriptions into a different file, but it's there. So what the agent does is it looks at the query that it's received, and then it reads all its different tool descriptions. And it says, okay, if I can't do this like as an LLM, what access do I have? Say like you want to post on Twitter. LLM doesn't post on Twitter, but if you have a Twitter posting tool, you can then post on Twitter. So what we like to see is, what kind of tools can you create and how you can integrate these tools into like some autonomous flow. So then the most important function is the initialization function. So after we've created the tools, after we've created the personality, what we want to do is we want to down here, when we initialize the agent, we're going to pass in the LLM that it's running on. So this agent is running on Claude Sonnet. We have the list of tools. We have memory. And then we have the personality, which is the state modifier, which is essentially the system prompt. So once you initialize this agent, now you have access to run it through our different modes. So you can either run in chat mode, autonomous mode, where you can configure like a certain task and it'll loop through the task. So one automation we have is like a Twitter automation where you can, specify like, you should post, you should respond to people, you should look for these different topics, and it will run through that over like a specified interval. And then the second way to run the agent is the voice agent. So in this server, we have where it's a new class called LangChain OpenAI Voice, and we're using OpenAI Real-Time for the multimodal to achieve like a very short latency of around 50 milliseconds or something very small of that sort. And the tools are configured for this voice agent in tools.py under server static. And essentially it's just the same thing, but since it's a different agent, we have to do like tool initialization for it as well. And it's very similar. And then we create like a simple prompt for it. And then we also, in the app.py, we initialize this agent as well. We actually use the same load characters. We use the same process character config, just abstracted from the other file. And then we give it some instructions. And then again, we initialize the agent with a model, tools, a system prompt. And since it's a voice agent, we can actually specify the voice. So now we can go into some demos of some of these different agents. So let's close this here. Okay, so first we're going to load up our AgentKit instance. So this is our voice agent. So it's going to actually, let's show the chatbot agent first. Okay, so for the chatbot agent, it's going to load up, and then you can decide whether you want to initialize the knowledge bases. We're not going to do those for the sake of time. And then now you have interactive chat mode, character automation with Twitter, and then I've had the agent print out all the tools it has just for developer reference, just so you can get acquainted with what it can do natively. So now I can say like what GPUs are available. It's hard to type with one hand. So now the agent will do its processing, and it should print out, what GPUs we have on Hyperbolic. So it's going to call its get available GPUs tool, and then it's going to print out all the clusters and nodes. And then it'll show you kind of what we have on Hyperbolic and the pricing and how many are available. So now you can say like, rent an H100 for me. Yeah, I can enlarge this here. Yeah, so now it's again querying the GPUs to see if they're still available. Okay, so yeah, sometimes you kind of have to prompt it a few more times. But yeah, if the here, actually, can you hold this? Okay. Cool. So now it's running the direct compute. Yeah. So there, we see that the instance has started, and then it gets the GPU status to see kind of if it's still starting up. I think the instance might still take like a few more seconds to start up, and then we can say like SSH into my GPU. So then again, it'll use the tool again to check the GPU status, and then it'll get the SSH command, and it should be able to SSH into that GPU. Perfect. So now it says now connected to this GPU as the root user Ubuntu, and it gives you the status of the GPU as well. And now you can, run like matrix multiplication, or you can run training on the GPU, or you can, do whatever you'd like on the GPU. And in an autonomous prompt, the agent now can decide whether it wants to rent a GPU or whether it doesn't want to, and it can, decide what commands to run. And we have some Twitter demos of you can ask the agent to run like DeepSeek for you, and it will decide which functions are important, how to download all the parameters, all the libraries that are needed, and it will do that autonomously for you. So then we can just type exit to leave this. Okay. So now we're going to show the voice agent. So this is a really cool demo of kind of how you can have this backend code that is like kind of, you type to it and it types back to you, but we want to make it easier for people to use agents. So we're running on localhost here.
This is the first time we're showing this demo, by the way.
Yeah, this is a sneak peek. Okay, cool. There we go. Let's see. Awesome. So we can use like our, for example, Hyper agent. So now you can say, hey, Hyper agent, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? How do we get the voice, like the sound? Can we get the sound to output? Okay.
So
yeah.
I just wanted to mention, right, like there's two kind of aspects with agents that I think we're really excited about. The first is the tools, right? Expanding the set of tools that the agent has access to. And then the second is the mode of interaction, right? We're just at the start of kind of playing around with agents, but we don't really think chat is the end result, right? It's not the best mode of interaction. And so, yeah, we'd love to see some really cool examples of like how people can actually communicate with agents in a more natural setting.
Another cool demo we have is like we integrated like browser use. So through browser use, you can actually use the voice agent, and we have this tool natively in our agent kit. And you can ask for like external task. And this external task, I asked it to help me buy a gift for my mom. And it talked to me about like kind of what the gift options were. And then it searched Amazon and it found the candle that I wanted to buy. And then it went through with the entire purchase. So this is just breaking the surface of, what you can do with the agent and kind of how you can, have an agent sidekick that does everything for you that you need. And, on Hyperbolic, they can self-replicate, self-evolve, and that's the future. Yeah. Thanks.
All right. Yeah, I think that's it. We'll be around again, helping out with any of the hackers that are working on the agent kit. Just come find us if you have any questions. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.